right, a new study finds that 53% of recent college graduates are unemployed or underemployed, yet 3.5 million U.S. jobs remain unfilled. Why is that? Well, because companies cannot find people with the skills to do the work they need. Nicholas Wyman has written a book. It's called Job U: How to Find Wealth and Success by Developing the Skills Companies Actually Need. And he joins us on GMT this morning. Nicholas, great to see you.
Hey, great to be here.
From Australia, now from California.
Well, yeah, it's a long way from Australia, not so far from California.
Exactly. So welcome, and a big congratulations to you, because a lot of people may not know you won the 2015 International Book Award in the business category.
Well, thank you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal for an Aussie, you know.
Yeah.
A fish out of water, but I think it's an issue that we see around the world, you know, this idea of this labour market mismatch. Why is it? People are leaving our education systems without the skills that employers need.
I wanted to ask you that because you feel like people really need to look beyond the traditional classroom. You're saying colleges and universities today catering more toward what's popular, not necessarily what's needed.
Big issue, and it's an expensive way to learn. You know, the average student loan debt is $30,000. The national debt for student loan debt is $1.2 trillion. So if you're looking for career advice, possibly don't go off to four-year college and sit there and say, what am I going to do next? I think there's a lot of other alternatives out there that you can say, well, this is a way to learn and earn.
Well, we know that there's going to be a huge job increase in healthcare with all the baby boomers out there. Tell us exactly who's hiring, especially here in North Texas.
Well, I think companies like American Airlines and the petroleum companies, and there's really two sorts of jobs. We're seeing these new and emerging industries, so medical technology and these biotech sort of jobs. But there's also, as you mentioned, people marching into retirement is causing traditional jobs like building construction, engineering. These are causing a lot of problems for people who want to get into jobs.
Right. And Texas City is also expected to add more police officers, more firefighters. Definitely need the skills there.
Look, absolutely, and I think that's because this area is booming. You know, when you look at the growth and the jobs growth, I think you're seeing cities growing, and of course, as cities grow, we're going to need to improve the infrastructure. So these are jobs that are always going to be in demand, and you need to have a really interesting set of skills. So to be a police officer, you need to be able to communicate with people, and these are the skills that people need to leave our education systems with.
Let's start with the obvious question. How do people acquire the skills they need to land these jobs?
I think you need to get into circulation, and you need to meet people, and you need to talk to people.
Okay.
So, you know, online networking is one thing, but I'd actually say to people who are looking for a job or looking for a new career, they need to get out and network. Networking is absolutely essential.
Yeah, let's talk about apprenticeships, though. A lot of people may not even know what those are. They're essentially a paid internship. You're getting paid to learn.
Absolutely, something close to my heart. I left high school in the 11th grade, and I went off and became a chef and travelled around the world. It was great. Worked in London and spent a bit of time. Actually met the Queen. You know, you do some pretty cool things. But an apprenticeship is this idea of learn while you earn. So you can actually get experience, but get paid to do it at the same time.
What are some of the companies, bigger companies, that are doing those?
So there's all sorts of companies, particularly in the tech area, who are looking into what we're calling traineeships or paid internships, who are saying, how can we bring people into our company? So if you look at Google, 30% of Google new hires are not coming through four-year college. Okay,
I know you also worked with IBM. Right?
Yeah, so I'm doing some work with IBM.
You consulted with them, and they recently did this landmark partnership with Twitter, which you wouldn't really expect, I guess, right off the bat for two companies like that to merge. But does that kind of speak to how success may come by? You always have to be willing to evolve and change.
Evolve and change, absolutely. So my work specifically is around a 9 through 14 model called PTech, or Pathways in Technology. And the idea is that young people still at high school can get strong academics, but guess what? They can get real-world workplace skills. Now, it sounds pretty basic, but this is what you want people to leave our education systems with. You need strong academics, but you also need to know how to relate to people.
So what's the main thing, if you're speaking to the high schoolers out there right now who are about to embark on a university or a college, what's the one thing you want them to know?
Follow your passion.
Yeah.
You've got to be passionate about what you don't worry. Mum and dad, friends, neighbours, that's great, but you've got to do what is right for you. So it's about the right education at the right time. So don't sweat it, don't get anxious.
Don't sweat it, I love that.
Don't get anxious. You know, if it doesn't feel right to go to four-year college straight away, find the time that is right for you. Get out, get a job, get some experience, and always keep training.
Well, and we were saying earlier before this interview started that there are some jobs out there that you can make over $70,000 a year without having to do 4 years of college.
Heaps of jobs. You know, it depends the sort of stress levels you want. You know, if you want to earn $130,000 a year, you can go and get a job as a traffic air controller. But there's plenty of jobs in medical technology where you can earn between $70,000 to $90,000 a year.
We love that.
A dental hygienist, medical tech, radiation therapist. So these jobs you can go off to a community college and you can get the skills that you need.
All right, we got to get your book to know how to do that. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations again. The Job U book available at Amazon and at local bookstores.